I know you're originally from Kansas and you began dancing in your mother's studio at the age of 4, from what I read. You eventually won a scholarship to the Roland DuPree Dance Academy in Hollywood, which was a prestigious school that was often a gateway to stage, film, and TV. I was just wondering if you could tell us a little bit about that experience and how it eventually led to a meaty role in the cult film Grease 2.
It was just kind of good timing when I moved out to Los Angeles. It was the summer of 1980, and actually probably closer to the fall. And I had found out about the auditions for scholarship like once I got here. I had one connection in Wichita, Kansas, that he kind of gave me like a few people to reach out to, just kind of an idea. I was so green. I knew nothing. He had set up a photo shoot for me to have, headshots when I came out, which are hysterical because they just weren't exactly what I needed out here. But I literally had just moved out and I went to the auditions, and it was a grueling process. It was kind of survival of the fittest. I mean, they worked us hard. I mean, they auditioned us in several different, genres of dance. And Bill Goodson was the scholarship, led the program at that time. So I fortunately got on. I think I had 2 years, even though I grew up in a dance studio, learned every style of dance from my mother. I had 2 years of intensive ballet training at Kansas State University. Ronnie Mahler was a former ABT dancer. She was, heading up the program there. And I think that really, really helped me because it just kind of like tweaked my technique a little bit better. So yeah, I mean, Bill Goodson, it was really sort of the first he already was doing hip hop stuff, in his jazz classes. Had never really danced that style. And we weren't allowed to audition while we were on scholarship. So our program went a little bit longer than a year. And once I got off scholarship, Grease 2 was one of the very first auditions that I went on. And it was a big deal. I mean, they had hundreds of dancers. They had people coming in from New York. Obviously, they'd already filmed Grease. There were a lot of people coming back, from the first film. And I just feel lucky. I just feel like there, a little bit of luck played into all that. I do know that my gymnastic ability at that time gave me a lot more opportunities because of that. There weren't a lot of dancers that were also acrobats or gymnasts back then. Now everybody does it. And I think that really helped me.
I mean, it was such a huge ensemble cast. I'm sure it was very competitive. Even if you were hired, everyone wants screen time, stuff like that. You have a lot of screen time, by the way, too. I was also wondering, you performed on the stage a lot, I'm assuming, right? Doing dances and recitals and stuff. What was different, being in front of a camera for the first time?
Actually, it was a lot easier for me because I had terrible stage fright. I mean, really bad stage fright when I was younger. And even though, that's what I did. I, was in the Miss Dance of America competition. I did the pageants, but I would get so nervous. I would nearly be ill. And there were times that I froze. And I mean, I would just stop and I couldn't even think of a move, you know. And I found that when I did film, I don't know if it's that, like, you can do another take if you mess up. I don't know. I don't really remember thinking those things, but it was so in the moment, and so whatever the setup was, whether we were outside, the big dance scene coming up to the school, or in the classroom, it just, the camera just was not, I just was never afraid of that. It was, you're aware of it, you play to it, but it wasn't, I was much more comfortable doing that than I was doing live on stage. I never could do theater. I tried, and it was just, I wanted to, but I just didn't have that in me. I'm sure I would have grown to be able to do it, but I just chose not to.
Patricia Birch directed Grease 2. She was the choreographer on the first film. She's also choreographed a lot of stage, TV, and film productions. But aside from music videos and some televised events, this is the only film she ever directed. So I was just curious if you had any memories or experiences working with her on the film, or anything like that.
As a whole, that experience was just fun. She was fantastic. We were all a team. The reason I may have gotten more screen time, I was one of 16 principal dancers. There were a lot of extras, a lot of dancers in the film. And I just remember this is my first experience, doing really anything. And everybody felt so welcoming, and, we worked hard at rehearsals, and, we became like schoolmates, like, with the other dancers, and, even the stars, because we were all together a lot. We had lunches together. I mean, we took over this campus, and so we were together like all the time, for 3 months or however long it was. So, me coming from my background, being on scholarship, I didn't know who anybody was. I mean, Patricia Birch, I didn't know who anybody was. So I was just like, open to whatever. And it was a really, really great experience. It was really, really fun. I remember St. Louis, some of the rehearsals that we would do with him, and this, singing, and, going into the recording studio. I kind of got into one of the studio sessions that I thought I was supposed to be there. I was on a call sheet and I showed up, and I wasn't, but he said, "Oh, yeah, stay," so I'm actually singing on, a couple of the tracks. I don't have a great voice, by the way, but I somehow survived it.
Now you see just how the stamen gets its lusty dust onto the stigma, and why this frenzied chlorophyllous orgy starchy spring is no enigma. We call this quest for satisfaction a what, class?
A photoperiodic reaction!
Oh, that's good. Oh, that's very good.
Hey, I'm lost. Where are we?
Chapter 2.
Page 5.
Reproduction. Reproduction. Put your pollen tube to work.
Reproduction.
Reproduction. Make my stamen go berserk.
Reproduction.
I don't think they even know what a pistol is.
I got your pistol right here.
Where does the pollen?
Back here. Would you get in your seat?
Sit down.
Next chapter. Now, in an abstract way, the same thing applies to the reproductive organs of the more complex life forms. But we are now dealing with sexual response. Are there any questions before we begin reading?
Is it possible the female member of some sex on a couch could, like, get this guy all hot and she never even knew it?
Negative.
When a warm-blooded mammal in a tight little sweater starts pulling that stuff, she's saying that she wants to do it.
Can't prove it by me.
Cause they change their tune when you got them in the backseat.
With his heart beating
They
fast.
make it sound like a track meet. Gross!
Yeah, and all they can do is say,
No, 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 no.
Oh, and the pageant number, the fall, I was the fall, right? Yeah.
By the way, it's November, and we have you for November, and you have the November headdress on. I was just like, it's amazing.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, I was like, we got you for Thanksgiving. It's great. Girl for all seasons. That's the song.
Girl
Right?
for all seasons, right?
Yeah.
In the fall you'll see September can be heavenly. If you fall, say you fall for me. When autumn leaves are falling from the tree.
The bowling number was amazing. That was probably one of the most fun things to shoot in the bowling alley. And I had a great partner. The luau scene was quite something. We shot a lot of evenings, nights, and it got very, very foggy. There were times that we would sit there all night long waiting for the fog to lift so we could get a scene, so that got kind of stretched out. It was pretty wild. It was fun. I just kind of went along for the ride with all of it. I was very into the character. I wanted so badly to be one of the bad girls, and I wasn't. I didn't get to be, I was still pretty clean cut, plaid skirts and sweaters and, So, but yeah, it was really a great experience.